We're going to give everybody just a second to get joined in here this evening. There's always a bit of a delay. I should have took the ice out of that cup. I didn't think about it till just now. Whoops. You guys will be fine. But, we're talking Christmas gift list tonight. Like your wish list. So, before we get into all that, this week's episode is brought to you by Deep Roots Rifle Company, elevated excellence rooted in integrity and reliability. Use the link in the description to get over to their website and order just about everything you'll need to get into the woods this fall, from a fully custom rifle built in-house to flashlights to help you find your way in the dark. And be sure to use code UPO10 at checkout for 10% off your order. I actually haven't checked on that staccato piece, how many spots are left at pistol. So let's do that real quick. And pull up this. Let's see here. And there's a link in the description here to go straight to get it, some of those staccato. Some tickets to it, right? They're dwindling down. There's 29 in stock. So it's getting less and less and less. When you click on that link, it's going to bring you to a page where you have the ability to choose a seat, from seats 1 through 50. Of course, 1 through 4 are gone, 6 and 7's gone, 11 through 13 are gone. There's a few out there that are missing. So you're going to pick one seat or multiple seats, and you're going to buy your tickets to the event. And you don't have to be present during the webinar, but at the end, somebody's going to walk away with this nice new staccato P at $2,500 MSRP. So it's a 9mm, 17 plus 1 or 20 plus 1 capacity, 4 to 4.5 pound trigger, 4.4 inch bull barrel, steel frame, 4140 steel, the 4.4 inch toolless Dawson precision recoil system, and it's got a grip width of 1.3 inches. It's going to come with two 17-round magazines. So if you win it, you're still going to have to get it either shipped to your local FFL if it's legal to own in your state, or you can pick it up at Deep Roots Rifle Company here in Florida. So let me jump back to my notes. So we're getting close to Christmas, as we all know. What's going on, Tyke? And if you're anything like me, this is the time of year when you kind of got to start dropping hints. Probably should have been dropping them a while ago, right? You say very subtle hints. I ordered the Henry catalog, and I circled that 360 buck hammer, and I said, treat it like Christmas Story, except I don't want a Red Ryder. And I tried to slide it in with my wife's stuff. It didn't work. Just ended up on a shelf somewhere. Maybe you leave the Cabela's catalog open on the kitchen table with a sticky note that says, I want this. Subtle. So tonight, we're diving into a hunter's Christmas wish list. The things hunters actually want. The things people think hunters want, and a couple dream gifts that we all know are a long shot. But hey, Santa hunts too, right? Whether you're shopping for a hunter or you are the hunter trying to strategically influence the gift buying department at home, this episode's for you. Let's get into it. So, I'd say gear every hunter wants. Unless you've already got like a premium pair or a pair you really love, you can't go wrong with a new set of boots. Good boots are a universal need. And by good boots, I mean good boots. The funny part is, boots are always the wrong size unless you buy them yourself. So I don't care if your wife tries to buy them for you, or your husband or your significant other traces your foot on a piece of paper. It never works. So I would honestly say, if you're going to look at buying boots for someone, maybe you want to go to a store that sells the boot that they want. What's going on, AJ? And get them a gift card. Get them a gift card for the amount that they want, the amount that the boots you want to buy them cost, and let them go pick their size out. I know depending on the boot, I range anywhere from an 11 to a 13. So usually around 11 and a half, 12. But We'll see. I got a funny shaped foot, I guess. In the early season, you want something. If you have like a late season boot and you want to need to get some early season boot, you want to look for something breathable. If you're the other way around, and you've got some early season boots, you need some late season boots. You want to look for something, insulation, Gore-Tex, something that makes you feel like you got too many Yeti coolers strapped to your feet. And if you're in the South, maybe snake boots that already have some. I'm not a big snake boot fan. I wear, I'd rather wear chaps or snake gaiters because snake boots, although, could prevent you from getting snake bit, they get kind of uncomfortable when you're sitting in the tree, in my opinion, like these knee-high boots. I prefer the gaiters because I can get up in the tree and take them off. I'm not really worried about rattlesnakes when I'm in the tree. It's mainly to and from the tree stand. Now you do have to remember to stop, take the couple seconds, couple minutes, I should say, to put your gaiters on before you leave, and then before you go back to wherever you came from. So, yeah, 6 one way, half dozen other. Packs and bino harnesses. You can be picky. Hunters tend to be picky about their packs. So, like me personally, I keep that stuff in an Amazon list. Make a list on Amazon of things, and everybody's like, "Oh, what can I get you for your Christmas?" Look here, just send them a link. It's in the list. With the straps have to feel right. The pockets need to make sense, and you don't want noisy zippers and Velcro. And if it sounds like you're opening a bag of potato chips, it's out. So keep that stuff in mind. Bino harnesses are the same way. I like my bino harness. I have a FHF gear. I think it's called the chest rig. It's pretty big, and it has a bucket. I have the bino bucket inside of there to hold my Vortex 10x42s. I could put bigger binoculars in there, but I keep other stuff inside there just besides just my binoculars. I can actually fit my binoculars in there and a whole box of shotgun shells on the other side, so it works out during duck season or doing other things like that. Small game hunting, it's nice to have that extra. Throw some 22 shells or whatever. Most of the time, I'm keeping an extra flashlight in there. Got a compass. We went over this before in another episode, but so let's talk knives. Knives is another great one. When you're talking skinning knives, you want to think maybe fixed blade knives, folding knives. There are the replaceable blade system knives. I've seen some recently that take like the scalpel blades, which I'm kind of mildly interested in. But hunters will take any knife as a gift. Why? Because you probably lose at least one a year. You could. They disappear like socks in a dryer. I've had this knife. I got a little Spyderco here. I want to pull it out of my pocket. I don't want to get in trouble with YouTube. Spyderco for many years. Man, going on a decade now I've had that knife. I don't know. It seems to me when I spend more money on a knife, I seem to keep track of it better. Of course, I've lost a few Benchmades along the way too. So I don't know, but to me, it's better to spend money on a quality knife, have a blade that retains its edge better, than to keep buying those cheap gas station knives. So look at your better brands. Kershaw makes a great knife for the price. Buck makes a pretty good knife for the price. Benchmade makes a great pocket knife. They're a little more on the more expensive side, but I would say they're, of the expensive knives, they're cheaper than most, cheaper than some. There's always game bags. So you throw the game bag deal in there, and that's going to keep you, that's what your meat's going in. It's going in your backpack so that when you make a harvest, you got a place to put your meat. Most hunters don't buy these until the night before hunt or after they've packed out a deer with whatever random trash bags were in the truck. Good game bags keep meat clean, cool, and protected, and they make great practical but thoughtful gift. And typically you can wash them too, so they're not one-time use. They don't have to be if you take care of them. We talked about stuff like that last week. Tech and tools. So this is actually a pretty good one. If they have a mapping app they like, whether it's Onyx, Spartan Forge, Hunt Stand, Base Maps, You could buy another year subscription. A lot of those companies have gift cards. So you buy a gift card for the cost of a year, and then when their year they're currently paying for runs up, they can either renew it with the gift card, or if they don't already pay for the paid version of most of those apps, you can buy them a year or buy them a gift card worth the amount of a year so that they have that from the year going forward. Premium mapping subscriptions are one of the most useful gifts you can give a hunter. And we got to do death to the orange tape in the woods. So those premium mapping apps are awesome. The free versions work, but not all of them provide you with property lines. I know that Spartan Forge does, which is why I try to tell everyone to go that direction, especially if you're going to stick with the free version, because you're getting the property owner information and the property lines for free. But offline maps is a big one that you're usually not getting for free with any of them. Yeah, when you're getting out in the woods, being able to look at those, being able to download those apps and keep them with you so you can continue to use it the whole time. That's fantastic stuff. And that'll run you usually maybe $50 to $100 for a year. Trail cameras are another one. Whether you want to go with the SD cams or cell cams, it doesn't matter. Depends on, I would say, you know your hunter best or yourself best, depending on how far away your trail cams are going to go from, and your ability to check them on a regular basis. Whether you would want to put trail cam, your SD card cams, if you've got one that's you're hunting on the back 40 at the house. Maybe having that cell cam is not necessary. You can slip down there every few days over a feeder or a trail or bedding area or whatever and check that trail cam to see what's been coming through. But a lot of them, trail cams now these days are cellular cameras. So maybe buying a cell cam and then maybe buying a year subscription to that cell cam to go with it. But hunters love them, and nothing says Merry Christmas quite like a notification on your phone that a spike walked by at 2:13 in the morning. Just remember, if you give someone a cell cam for Christmas, you're also giving them a lifetime supply of batteries. So that's the hidden fee. And that's another thing. That's another battery tax. Good Lord, how do we? That's one of the things. Like every year for Christmas, we order double A's and triple A's from Amazon and just stack them up thick in the cabinet right before Christmas, because there's nothing like kids opening crap up that won't work because you don't have batteries for it. Flashlights and headlamps. I like these little Streamlight micro streams. I use this all the time. This is actually the rechargeable version, so it has a little micro USB plug there on it. It's a very bright light. Works great, and it fits in my pocket. I mean, it's the size of my middle finger. They also make a version of this that runs on one AAA battery. It's not quite as bright, but when it dies, you don't have to charge it. You just put a new battery in it. So, and it also got a little S-clip, so it clips to my hat. I've used this to walk to the tree stand plenty of times when I realized I forgot my other light in the truck, to and from the stand. Great little light, even on this rechargeable one. On its high setting, I think it's 200 lumens. It lasts quite a while, a couple hours. And then it has a lower setting at 50 lumens where it lasts, I think, about 8 hours. And that's what your one that runs on AAA is going to be in that 50 lumen range, which is plenty bright enough, especially if you're thinking about, like, it's a lot brighter than your cell phone light. And it's a lot cheaper to lose that light. This rechargeable version running about $30, and the AAA version running about $15. So it's a lot cheaper to lose one of those and lose your cell phone. Even if you do have the insurance still costs like $50 or more to replace a phone, and you got to wait for the phone to get there. It's no fun. I also have, which I should have brought in here with me, I have another rechargeable headlight called the Claymore, and it clips onto the hat, and it has a white spot, 2 red floods, or I can flip it forward and the whole top of the light illuminates in a big white floodlight. That's actually really handy, and it has the little sensors on the side where you can wave your hand past it to turn it on and off. I like that light. There are some headlamps on the higher end that are, saying there's some of the brightest red lights out there. If you've never walked through the woods under red light, None of them are very bright. I have not used some of these other lights. They're about $100. I wish I could remember the name of it right now, but I'd give it a shot. If somebody bought it for me for Christmas, I'd definitely be happy to have it. Um, but walking it under red light is typically not fun because it's not very bright. But that's also the kind of the point of it. It's the lowest visible form or lowest visible wavelength of light, so it's supposed to not spook game as bad. I don't know if it works or not. I've had deer lay there and stare at me while I'm staring at them with a white light. So 6 one way, half dozen the other. If it lights up and doesn't weigh a ton, throw it on the wish list. Portable power banks. Let's see. Dan Force. Jake says Dan Force makes a very bright red light. I'll have to look into that one. Portable power banks, though. Those things can be a lifesaver on a long sit. You tend to play on your phone. Or maybe your flashlight died walking in the morning and you have a rechargeable light. You can recharge your flashlight, you can charge your phone, you can charge cameras, GoPros, whatever. A good power bank is great. These things are lifesavers for long sits, cold mornings, running cell cams, or recharging a phone after 3 hours of scrolling Facebook. Let's be honest. You're scrolling Facebook. You're looking at Marketplace. You're sitting in that tree stand you've had for years, scrolling Marketplace, trying to find the next more comfortable used one. But let's talk about tree stands for a minute. If they're hunting out of a climber and they like climbers, there's a lot of companies now making, this is on the higher end, right? There's some real lightweight climbers out there. I want to think, for the life of me, XOP makes a good one. Never tried it. Heard it's pretty good. It's lightweight. Lone Wolf makes a couple really nice climbers. They're really expensive, talking about the $1,000 range. If they're hunting out of a saddle, you can look at new saddle gear, new platforms, new sticks, lock-ons. There's so many lock-on companies out there. I've got a Millennium M7 Microlight. Those are pretty cheap, about $200, $250 as far as lightweight lock-ons go. And I think it's a great little stand. It's plenty comfortable enough and packs up good on my back, but it's, something to think about. Maybe they want to get into the ground hunting game. Look into maybe a mobile ground chair of some kind, or if they're a turkey hunter, maybe a nice new turkey chair, things of that nature. Clothing. Maybe some base layers, some quality base layers. You're looking to get into merino wool. Maybe you're wanting to... maybe you want to stick with the fleece. I don't know why. Fleece dries faster than wool, but wool retains its heat better, or its ability to stay warm better even when it's wet than fleece does. Although fleece does retain some of its ability to stay warm when wet. But wool overall is antimicrobial, so it doesn't stink after you sweat in it. So something to think about. If you want to change a hunter's life, buy them good base layers. Like I said, merino wool is warm, quiet, doesn't stink, and feels like wearing a hug. Synthetic works too, especially for the sweatier early season hunts. That's just because it dries out so fast. Insulated jackets and bibs. A good jacket matters more than people think, especially if you're talking about sitting in a stand hunt down here in the southeast or Midwest or anywhere that stand hunting is popular. When it gets bitter cold and the wind's blowing, windproofing is a real game changer. You can have the biggest puffed up marshmallow coat in the world, but if the wind cuts through it, you're done. Quiet material is also big. Nobody wants to sound like they're wearing a bag of Doritos every time they move. Code of Silence makes a really cool, that's a nice brand. I've thought about buying some of their stuff. They're supposed to be, wait for it, quiet and very warm. I have a lot of natural gear stuff currently, which is mostly hard-backed fleece, and it is quiet, and it is very warm. And being that hard-backed fleece, it does cut the wind well. I like it, and both of those are coming in at less than Sitka. But if you got Sitka budget, go for Sitka if that's what they like. Or First Light, or whatever they're already wearing. It's pretty easy to find out. If you don't know what your significant other likes to hunt in. You can go dig through their stuff and pull it out and just look at the pattern for a minute. The logo of the company will be in there somewhere. So, socks and gloves, the most boring gifts to open and the most appreciated in the woods. Merino socks, wool socks, like good wool socks, and a sock layering system. I mean, there's something to that as well. Gloves, I like the gloves that are fingerless, like they come to just the bottom of the knuckle here, because I keep my hands mostly in those little hand warmer pouches are in my pocket when I'm sitting in the stand. Keeps me from fiddling with my phone and fiddling with stuff. And then I have full dexterity of my fingertips when I do take my hands out. So I like those. Um, let's see. And you can always grab some of them, the dopey, cover scents. Those are great for stocking stuffers. And speaking of stocking stuffers, um, I, these are gifts that say, I don't know enough about your hobby to buy the expensive stuff, but I still care. So, wind checker bottles. With wind checker bottles comes, you can also grab milkweed seeds, uh, some deer grunt calls, some turkey mouth calls, hand warmers, whether you're buying the hot hands, but if you're going to buy hand warmers, I would totally encourage you to buy some of the electric ones, the rechargeable ones. Those things are awesome. Not only are they rechargeable, but you could also charge your phone off of them. They kind of work like a battery pack, but they're going to use it the whole time. Obviously they're running.